Yeah, let's go to the next story, and this is the yellow vest movement. And it seems like this movement actually yesterday and right now as we speak are actually right in the middle of a bank run. I will show you this little video of people going to the ATMs and actually withdrawing money in massive amounts here and basically testing the banks how much money they actually have. And here you can see all of the people lining up, and yeah, so this movement truly, they are trying the limits here. This is the big queue of people going to the ATM, hundreds and hundreds of people, and it's going to be very interesting to see if the ATMs and the banks are actually going to allow people to withdraw all this cash. So I guess the bank run is in full force after all.
Hey guys, and welcome back. Today is Sunday. Oh, hold on. I'm all over the place. Welcome back. Today is Sunday, January 20th, 2019. And welcome back. Welcome back. Today, I'm going to make this as short as humanly possible. I am swamped. I got so much shit to do. We even got football later on this afternoon. Martin Luther King, the day after that. We got a lot of shit, but even besides that, I'm busy as fuck. I got a lot of projects I'm still finishing up. More shit piling on top. You already know what's up. Life of an entrepreneur never ends. Now, let's just get to it real quick. I have a few things that I just want to talk about. We're doing a little week in review here, as we usually do. It was a pretty interesting week. You know, let's just go personally. It was a pretty cool week, you know what I mean? We had a lot of cool videos, cool topics, cool whatever, interesting. To tell you the truth, I don't even remember the fuck. That's how quick that week just breezed by. But I got a couple notes here. But we did see a bunch of awesome news, and in fact, like kind of like this news was coming out as I was making these videos, so I was like, ugh, and then I was forgetting, and just too many in my head. But I was like, you know what, let me at least cover it and talk about it here. This news you've already heard of through other YouTubers, or if you're on, you know, just going to Cointelegraph or anywhere on the webs, and you're in this space, you already know about this news. But again, I'm just gonna give you my 2 cents. So, you know what, before I even start giving you my 2 cents on, you know, again, the Yellow Vest protest, week 10, it's happening right now. Before I start giving you my comments on the you know, Coin Me or whatever, you know, Coinstar selling now Bitcoin, and talking about the Cash App and talking about all these cool things that we have, I want to show you a little bit of the week in review. So, hey, without further ado, here's a week in review. Today is Monday, January 14th, 2019.
There's going to be bad days. There's going to be dark days, but you gotta embrace it, because that pain is what makes you stronger. Success is not measured on the days the sun shines and your coins are mooning. Success is measured on the dark, stormy, cloudy days. And if you can't absorb failure, you're never going to make it.
That this is our tool, our weapon, and they're trying to take it away from us. We're wrestling with this whole thing. We're fighting them. It's a giant fucking, you know, it's a lot bigger than just numbers and just making a couple bucks, than fucking going to the moon. Literally.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
January 15th, 2019. The one major thing that Putin is saying, and Russia's saying, is that this is a way to get around sanctions. And again, we've talked about this many times. So this is, Venezuela's doing it, Turkey's doing it. There's a lot of countries out there that are going into crypto or finding a way, you know, to use crypto in order to circumvent the dollar. In order for us to really see change within our system, within the banking system, within the dollar, within the whole fucking fiat, you know, phenomenon that we have right now, this fucking, the giant, biggest Ponzi scheme in the history of Earth, we, the people, need to go to the streets like they have been doing in France for 9 weeks and counting now, That is what we, the people here in the US, have got to do, and people have to do all over the world. Today is January 17th, 2019. So today's episode is just like a day in the life of Jose, a day in the life of me. So you see, this is how it typically is. A little bit more bustling and hustle and bustle around. There's a lot more stuff usually going around. The reason I'm making this video is to show everybody out there that if you want it bad enough, you can get it. You know, I want it bad enough. I mean, but it's not for everybody. But for me personally, I do. This is why this is my just a regular day. This is just a Wednesday in my life, you know? Look at that. How does that look, guys? Look at that. That's flavor. All what we're doing with this is building flavor. I could just fucking add the whole thing, add all the ingredients and put it all there and together, but there's a reason my shit tastes the bomb. There's a reason my shit tastes so fucking good. All right, it's because, you know, we're building flavors. All right, all we're doing is building levels of flavor, and eventually all these levels of flavor turn out to be this awesomeness.
Hey, I know you don't smoke weed. I know this, but I'm gonna get you high today, cause it's Friday. You ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Today is Friday, January 18th, 2018.
Marijuana is not a drug. I used to suck dick for coke. I seen them. Now that's an addiction, man. You ever suck some dick for marijuana? Huh? No, I can't say I have.
The one thing that we can bet on is the fact that they're going to keep pumping this up all the way into oblivion. And whenever time I say pumping up, I'm just talking about hyperinflation, and meaning that they're going to keep printing money into oblivion. The more money they print, the poorer you and me get. The more they print, the more they can sustain the economy. The more they print, the more they can push up these companies and corporations and governments.
We are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that little quick week in review, the little quick synopsis of the week, my episodes, what was going on. But let's just get to the story of the day, the story that's happening, not just in France, but all over the world right now. These bank runs are happening. You guys remember what happened last week? On last Saturday, they tried to do a bank run, and instead they got met with water cannons, with tear gas, and so on and so forth. So the French people could not do a bank run. So thank God that they're pretty smart, and so around somewhere in the middle of this week that we just went through, the people just took it upon themselves. I'm not quite sure how the people decided to just go and do the bank run. I don't know if they were sharing it on social media or if they just decided to do it themselves or what have you. But as you know, Wednesday, Thursday approached, I was looking at videos. I'm gonna see if I can find you a video to put here. I just haven't been able to really find the video. I mean, I've seen videos, but I can't, they're hard. You know, YouTube censoring all this crap. So I can't necessarily find it, but I hope I can. And you'll be watching it as I was telling you all that. But anyways, the point is that there's already plenty of video of people going to the banks, taking out all their money, showing the receipt to the cameras, and then you see, and like again, you see the camera panning back, and you see tons of people, and in their yellow vest taking out their money. So it's already happening. They're doing this no matter what. The banks are very scared, I guess, you know, but not scared. You know, they're on the edge of their seat because they know that this could be the beginning of the end. I think it's going to be the beginning of the end of at least a central bank situation in Europe and hopefully the rest of the world. But again, guys, you know, most people in the US are, you know, with the government shut down, the whole wall, that whole bullshit. Again, there's a reason why all that is happening, so that people are paying attention to that bullshit or the Kim Kardashian egg, as opposed to really what's going on and what's happening around the world, and how, you know, if people in the US would be doing what's happening in France right now or in other parts of the world, then things would be a little different. But again, another reason why I'm living here in Mexico. And that brings up another good point. Before I get onto that point, literally, another thing that happened last weekend, that's this week that we just passed right now, Binance Jersey, I think they're called. Sorry, noise. Binance Jersey literally came out and said, by the way, they're called Binance Jersey because that's where they have to have their headquarters since they can't do business in New York. Hold on a second, guys. Yeah, sorry about that. Like literally, it's a weekend, a lot of shit going on out here, a lot of people partying, festivals, you name it. So there's a lot of noise, you know, not just from music, but, you know, little cars going around advertising the events that are happening. I love Mexico. I just fucking love it here. Again, I come from a loud culture and whatever, so to me, noise is not really a big thing. Anyway, sorry about my hair. I need a haircut again. Okay, so back to where we're at. So Binance has now made it available so that people in Europe and in the UK, but whatever, Europe, all of Europe, are able now to buy cryptocurrency. So like I was mentioning earlier this week, you know, pretty much what I was predicting was gonna happen was the fact that if people are not allowed to take their monies out of the bank account physically, then they'll do it digitally, meaning, you know, just transfer my funds from the bank account straight into Binance. And guess what? It's happening. It was actually happening. When I heard the news a couple days ago, I was like, wow, so happy, so happy. Because, I mean, that was just like a prediction. I was hoping for the best, being very optimistic, but no, people are actually fucking doing it. Wow. So, and how do I know this? Is because again, Binance themselves is saying that they were just expecting modest amount of people being interested in this shit, but as a matter of fact, it was a complete opposite, where they're overwhelmed with how many people want to open up an account, how many people want to take part of this. And again, this is all part of the whole situation here. I don't know if it was done on purpose or not, but it's pretty perfect timing. Wow, so great. So that's happening with that. So we're gonna add all these things together. Again, they're doing the bank run in France. People, obviously, they're not keeping the cash or buying gold. What are they doing? A lot of them are buying what? Bitcoin and crypto, just like we were saying and talking about. And we're seeing the change happening right in front of our eyes. And it's sure, we were expecting more of like a mass adoption type thing, like I was talking to my aunt earlier and just talking about how it was that we were all having flip phones, and a lot of us didn't want to do that change to get to the smartphone, and eventually we did when we would go and upgrade our phone at the AT&T store, Verizon store, whatever, and didn't have flip phones anymore. All they had were like smartphones, so we had to make that transition. I mean, that's how it was, I think, for a lot of people. And just technology advances further and further ahead. Again, like I was talking to my aunt, yesterday, but just like I was talking to her, about like the fact that 10 years ago we didn't have cell phones or tablets or a lot of the things that we have today. And so, same thing with Bitcoin and crypto. What is causing mass adoption is literally economic strife happening around the world, and we're witnessing it. And it's not just in France. We've already been seeing these things happen in Venezuela, in Turkey, in Iran, and in a lot of countries around the world. And so now we're watching France, and France is considered first world country. They're considered again, they're part of Europe, part of the European Union. They're it's like if the US was doing this, or Germany or whatever, which a lot of countries are doing it. But again, this is a major turning point. And now to go towards the United States, in the United States, they're opening up these Coinstar machines that are, the machines in which you put all your quarters and fucking money in. Well, now those things are everywhere. They're at banks, they're at grocery stores, they're everywhere all over in the US. And now they're starting to roll out where those machines that are everywhere are going to start selling you Bitcoin. That company has a humongous infrastructure. They have a humongous ability to implement this. And so Coinstar partnered up with an ATM, a Bitcoin ATM company, and now they're going to be selling ATM all over the world. I mean, all over the country. So that's major. That's really major. It's not going to be overnight, but it's happening. And so they're setting up the infrastructure's already been set up and being set up in the US. Even though we're watching things like this happen, at the same time we're watching so many other regulatory situations in the US, which is making it very unfavorable for people to stay in the US. So again, we were talking about Eric Voorhees and Exodus and Shapeshift and stuff like that. They're coming down hard on them. Don't be surprised if he eventually listens to Jose and leaves the fucking country and sets up shop somewhere else. And we're going to be seeing a lot of that. We're going to be seeing a lot. Now, speaking of immigration, like I was mentioning this yesterday in the Discord, but we're watching it, we're seeing it. Again, I was literally saying this a couple years ago when Trump got elected, that the whole wall was being built to keep Americans in. And I was saying it like a joke, ha ha, he he. But no, as we've moved forward to where we are now, that's exactly what's happening. And again, I mean, the scenario is like this. If you're a fucking immigrant coming from God knows where, and you're crossed all the way and you got to the wall, as soon as you get to the wall, what, you're not gonna be able to make it across? Listen, you've made it through every level of this video game. That's like the worst thing ever. Once you get to the wall, that's the easiest part, okay? You're already, that's the easiest boss, all right? There's a million ways to get across. Now, if you're an American trying to flee the U.S. to south of the border, well, guess what? You know, you're nice and comfortable, and you're not, you know, you're a different kind of human. So you're gonna be driving across nice and comfortable. You're gonna find a way to, okay? First of all, why are you gonna be crossing through the border? Because it's already getting to the point where you can barely fly out of the country. All right, you can, you know, there's already all this legislation and all this stuff where they're starting to take your passport away. They're starting to make it more difficult, and so on and so forth. So it's gonna get to the point where you might not even be able to leave the country. This has happened a million times in human history before, guys, okay? I'm Cuban. It's still happening kind of there. Well, you know what I'm saying. But, you know, my family, I've been dealing with this shit. We've been dealing with this shit. And again, there's a lot of countries out there that know what I'm talking about. And a lot of people with backgrounds, immigrant backgrounds, that know exactly what I'm talking about. So, once they close down the airports and the ports of entry for us American citizens to leave, then most people are going to start getting desperate and start crossing the border. And then that's where you need the wall. Now, they're not going to be crossing into Canada because Canada is just as bad as the U.S. I'm not going to fucking sit here and talk, compare one to the other. But when it comes to like what you're looking for, if you're leaving the U.S., then you're not going to go to Canada. It's just as bad there, okay? Canada's great. I love Canada, but I'm just keeping it real, all right? If you're leaving the country, it's because you want a better life, you want to be able to earn more money, you want to be able to, you know, enjoy your quality of life. There's so many fucking things, and unfortunately in Canada you can't do that because it's like the US. So, that leaves south of the border. As to like, I gotta leave now. And that's where the problem is, because again, unless you're fucking Rambo, you know, you're not gonna be able to make it across that wall into Mexico. And most people, they're leaving with their family. So they need to go and cross it, you know what I mean, with their car, with their vehicle, with their what have you. And that's where the problem's coming, or that's where the problems are going to start arising. So, like I was saying, the next mass exodus, I feel, of mass immigration, you know, just like we're watching the Syrian immigrants, or we're watching the people from the Middle East, or we're watching people from South America. Anyways, the next mass migration is going to be people from the US and even people from Europe leaving their respective first world countries and living abroad elsewhere. Again, why I'm bringing this up is because, you know, all the things are coming together. And, you know, everything, you know, makes sense, you know, as to what I'm saying, as to these things will be happening. But, you know, I was watching some YouTube channel yesterday of some random recommendation I got, and it was just this dude, like, I don't want to, like, I don't know. I think he's a great channel, but then some dude that's like, I don't know. He says he's a millennial, but what I'm trying to say is, because I don't know if he's a Zer or a Z or a Z, whatever. I don't know. He's just some dude that's half and half. I think he's great. I think he's awesome. He's a good fucking channel. Anyways, long story short, he was living in LA, couldn't hack it in LA anymore like a lot of people. It's not that we can't hack it, it's just that it's impossible to fucking live in the country anymore. So he decided to, him and his friend, him and her, they fucking both went and said, fuck it, we're gonna go live in the Czech Republic. And that's how I kind of saw their videos, and they're there just as happy as I'm here, and just like I see all kinds of videos of all kinds of people leaving their respective countries to go live somewhere else. Okay, and that's just the reality of it. We're going to be seeing a lot more of that, and a lot more of that happening. And you know, like I said, I mean, I'm just going to come full circle. I want to end this real quick, but again, guys, long story short, the banks are the ones that run the world. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are the one tool that we are now starting to be able to use in order to circumvent this system, okay? Because it's just truth. It's just truth, okay? I want to give a shout out there right now real quick to the Cash App, to Square, you know, for them, you know, taking the steps to allow people to not just buy Bitcoin, but transfer Bitcoin and use Bitcoin. The Cash App has provided me with a bank account. I love the Cash App. And there's a bunch of tools out there that we are all using now on a regular basis in order to circumvent the banks or to create our own bank for ourselves. You know, when it comes to the Cash App, you know, they provided me with a fucking bank account, which I can't get anywhere now. And it's not because of anything to do. It's just literally because I'm too poor, according to the US, to the central banks to get a real bank account, that type of shit. And then even once I do get one, I gotta fucking pay for it, which is fucking insane. You know what I mean? And I can't get one here yet because of my legal status. I'm working on it, but you know, as soon as I can, I'm gonna get one out here. And the banking system out here is completely different than the banking system in the US and in the first world country. You know, scenarios. You know, there's no, like, central banks do not rule here. Central banks hang out here, but they are not ruling Mexico. Central banks rule the US, central banks rule the Euro and the European Union and so on and so forth in other parts of the world. That's why you're seeing people on the streets with enough, and they can't take it anymore, and they're finding safe havens like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So, all right guys, I want to just end it here. I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to everyone out there, to all my patrons, to all the people that help support me, help support this channel, help support everything we're doing here. Give a big shout out to all of you guys. I also want to just say I fucking love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today and this week. And I think that I'm gonna just end it here. So don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, and check this video out. I'm gonna put a video out right now, which is an oldie. I made this video a year ago. Okay, I made this video a year ago, but yet it still stands true today. I was watching my algorithm stuff, you know what I mean? Like who watches my videos and all this shit. Not who watches my videos, but I mean the analytics, you know, like, hey, what videos are being watched right now? And all of a sudden I started seeing an uptick in this one particular video, and I was like, you know what, let me watch it. It's like over a year old. Let me see if it still makes sense. And yes, it does. I'm not gonna put the whole video, but I'm gonna put like the basics of this video. And when I talk about Gregory Mannarino, when I talk about hyperinflation, when I talk about what's really happening, you know, in the stock market, in the economy, the dollar, the bonds, you know, everything that's happening, you know, when I say 100K Bitcoin, you know, all of these fucking things, when I talk about all that stuff, this is it right here. This is a video of Jim Cramer literally spilling the fucking beans. So I'm gonna let you guys enjoy that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have fun watching the football games today. Remember, Rams, Patriots. And that's it, guys. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys mañana. Martin Luther King Day, right? I have a dream. All right, so without further ado, let's watch the stock market.
It feels like a Pats crash, you know, like a flash crash. It's a Pats crash. Patriots. Patriots.
we got that. We got that.
I mean, honestly, it's like the last minute they crashed. I mean, there was like a Hail Mary to Gronk, he dropped it, and you lose 1,600 points, 600 points. Now let me understand. The last 600 points are about as phony as they come.
You're a phony.
I mean, even if you wanted to try to buy something, you wouldn't be able to. You could put a bid in. Now, if we hit that level again, I think people are going to say, wait a second, down 4 or 5%, let's start looking. I've been listening to the guests. There's a lot of stuff that has actually gotten interesting that wasn't interesting on Thursday. Markets do get cheaper as they go down. There are issues, obviously, but you know, we talk endlessly about how the 10-year, the interest rates went up. Well, can we look at them for a second? They're going down. We talk constantly about how the market's overvalued. It may have been overvalued on Wednesday, but there's things now that are not overvalued. We have a situation like Wells Fargo that's so powerful, it can pull every bank stock down. And by the way, it is amazing that the Federal Reserve basically woke up and said, hey, you know, the largest domestic bank, boom, let's just cut their earnings. Let's just take their earnings, not just the people with their earnings. So let's, you know, we'll probably revisit this Pats crash again. But remember, it's done on no volume. It's done because of machines. But remember, it's done on no volume. It's done because of machines. But remember, it's done on no volume. It's done because of machines. No one even has time to think to buy. Someone obviously screwed up and put in a big sell order, and it goes down like that. And, you know, we should get used to that because we're up a lot on a percentage basis. But let's just not forget that the markets showed the same lack of class and power and honesty and truth that we have seen in every kind of one of these flash crashes. It's not different. The market got phony again. It's a shame.
Hey, you know who lives in this house? A great big phony! That's right, a phony lives here! A big fat phony!
But it can't handle the volume and it can't handle this level of selling. Opportunities come when the market breaks. And the market just broke again. We haven't seen it break in a long time.
What?
It's too bad.
Jim, let's look at the volatility here. The gauge, VIX above 30. We were about 33 earlier.
Well, that's
that thing's
phony
really
too.
just
That's
kind of
phony
jumped
too,
higher.
Kelly. That's phony
But do you
too.
see them going hand in hand? I mean, when you're talking, so explain to
I
people
see
when they say,
idiots
wait a
coming
minute.
in and selling, and I see it's too fast to buy. There's a lot of stuff
Right.
that's come up too much, absolutely. But, you know, there are stocks that are literally back to, you know, where you could say that, okay, we've repealed a lot of the gain. And it happens so quickly that it's hard to even think, well, wait a second, is that price real? 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 Maybe I want to buy that Procter & Gamble at $80. But you can't. Because it's just some machines coming in, hitting it down. Because it's just some machines coming in, hitting it down. Because it's just some machines coming in, hitting it down. Because it's just some machines coming in, hitting it down. You can't get your orders in on time. It's the same crummy, doesn't really work market in the speed, you know, when you have the speed of light. So we sit there, we're mesmerized, we think something's wrong. But you know what?
Yep.
Just remember the flash crash a couple years ago, another flash crash a few years ago. When the market can't handle this kind of trading, you get this. But don't freak out. Look for something you like to buy.
Jim, we will give you a net.
My killers who will not take no for an answer. My fucking warriors who will not hang up the phone until their client either buys or fucking
It's important to be hysterical and not be rational. And I say that because I saw the trucks, the local news trucks.
Out front.
Yeah, you know, that's always, I don't know, I shouldn't say always, but maybe 8 out of 10 is a bottom because they get in, they see the trucks there, and they're great. I tweeted one of those pictures because you see those trucks, it says, wow, we're about to have something big happen. It often means that we had something big happen. Remember, if you have been trading between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock, you'd say there's a new bull market because there was a huge spike in the futures. We all know that this
3 a.m.
Yeah, 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
Yeah, 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
Yeah, 3 a.m. We all know sleeping after the Eagles' victory would be a big mistake. You got to really take it in. XIV went bust last night. That's a particular piece of paper that you and I are now discovering.
Yes.
Turns out to be a lot of people who are hiding in that and selling volatility.
We're going to talk more about
They
that
thought it was an asset
in
class.
terms of these ETNs and the prospectuses thereof. Yeah.
But I think it's important to point out the direction. It's certainly right, given that spike in bonds. The velocity of the direction seems to be exacerbated by these products that people always come up with. Not unlike, David, if you remember in 87, when they came up with portfolio insurance.
Right.
If you remember in August of 2015, Mr. Bullard, by the way, with some very calming comments. But if you remember, you go back, when were we this much oversold? I've got the S&P oscillator in front of me. August of 2015, wow, that was a great time to buy.
It was. Let's talk a bit more about August of 2015 because we were down 11, 12%.
Feels like
it was quantitatively driven, many would say, as is often going to be the case now because the machines dictate so much and the algorithms do.
What?
It was quantitatively driven, many would say, as is often going to be the case now because the machines dictate so much and the algorithms do.
But he does know he's on live TV, right?
It was quantitatively driven, many would say, as is often going to be the case now because the machines dictate so much and the algorithms do. That was on Chinese devaluation. There were a number of other concerns.
That interview that Mr. Bullard did at 2:15 on Friday on XM.
Right.
It's like, wow. Kind of a footnote.
But we were down dramatically over a 2-week period, and now, of course, it's just a little
and we look
blip.
back and we say, why was that? You know, we can say it was because of the Fed.
It could be anybody. It could have been Santa Claus. It could have been the Easter Bunny. It could have been, I mean, right? Who knows? Who knows who it could have been? We have no idea. It's not like they just fucking said who it was, right?
Why was that? You know, we can say it was because of the Fed.
right?
We can say it was because of interest rates, or we can say it's the,
right, but is that somewhat akin to what we've seen over these last?
For the flash crash,
yes,
and there were a lot of people who were saying it was because of Greece. Now, David, you and I said that there was 8 million people in Greece.
Yeah.
Did that really cause a 1,000-point loss? No, the machines broke down, but we always want to identify a villain. There is no Lex Luthor.
No, but when we look at the technicals here, when we look at the quantitatively driven models, and we wonder how much further there is to go if you can try to ascertain that, based at least on the action that took place back in 2015 in August, if it was somewhat similar to what we're seeing here, we're not quite done then, are we?
No, but I think what you do, I like to, this idea of the market really does break down as a concept.
So the market is just a concept now?
Because I could have said that, did Exxon really go up 5 at 3 a.m. and then go down 10 from there at 7? No, I mean, it's a real company. It's the largest oil company in the world, but that's the equivalent of what would happen. So I say pick something that you really like. I mean, let's use a stock like Costco, okay? Costco's made its quarter. You have to believe right now, as of this morning, that the wealth effect's been destroyed. No one's going to go get those free samples in the unbelievable crab legs at Costco this weekend. And I would tell you that's probably wrong.
Mmm, delicious. I will seriously consider purchasing this product. Oh, what have we here? May I partake? Mmm. Oh, sausage son. Plan to buy great amount for samurai buddies.
Sir, you don't have to keep moving to the back of the line. You can have as many as you want. They're free.
What are you talking about? Hey, can I have some more sausage? Yeah, me too.
So anyways, guys, I hope you liked that funny little thing that I made there for you guys, but I'm just trying to fucking, put it out there for you. Put this information out there for you, and try to dissect it a little bit so that we can all really understand what is really going on.
I think young kids are getting tricked right now and think just because it's a technology boom and just because they understand it, that they have this great advantage over 45-year-old executors. It's audacity, which I love. Channeled properly, it gives them the lack of fear to do things. So I really don't talk a lot about it because I don't want to stop it, because I think it's their greatest gift as well. But I think it's patience, I think it's lack of experience, and the biggest one is lack of talent. Every young kid thinks they're entitled to be an entrepreneur now. It's the cool thing. Truth is, it's not going to work out. Like, it just isn't. The math doesn't work out. Like, 98% of the people that are starting startups are gonna lose. And again, the reason I started with the economic growth of the globe is keeping a fake entrepreneur alive. Most of your friends that in their 20s that have businesses aren't actually making money if they're in tech. They've raised capital and they're losing money every month. That's ultimately something that doesn't work out.